Rhea Ripley has turned heel and joined Judgment Dedge. I am Adam from WrestleTalk, and what occurred recently at WrestleMania Backlash? Well, WrestleMania Backlash was good. It was good. No one cared about this show, like even a little bit going into it, but you know what? It was good. It was a relatively quick. It was 3 hours. Love that for me. Love that for me. And yeah, all of the action was pretty good. Some of the storytelling was a little mediocre. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view that accomplished a lot, but fine. It's a good enough time. Every match ended conclusively. There wasn't a DQ or count out or no contest on the show. Main event fun. We'll break it down. So we started with Seth versus Cody Rhodes. I mean, going off the bat, like Seth came out dressed exactly the same, pretty much. Like it was almost exactly the same entrances, except Cody wasn't accidentally stuck in an elevator. They seem to have a new gimmick for him where he appears in a puff of smoke, like Mr. What's the name of the Great Gazoo? The Great Gazoo from the Flintstones. Fine match this. Absolutely fine. Like lots of really fun spots. The disaster kick where he just hoys him over the ropes. Get tough. Moonsault being missed and almost into a pedigree. Crossroads counter. The roll up. No. Seth tried to roll up Cody with the tights. Cody rolled up Seth with the tights and everyone got a good look. Seth Bommel. I thought it was fine. Good match. A match that actually benefited from being an arena rather than a stadium, I think, and also a match that benefited from the fact that the crowd didn't almost kind of burn itself out on the reveal of Cody like they sort of did last time. I think consistently a better match than their Mania one, but I wouldn't say the story that they told justified there being a sequel, if I am honest. Because, like, yeah, there was a little bit where he says, like, oh, I remember a spot you did, and, oh, this finish is slightly different. But Cody's won twice now. That's it. We're done, please. Like, the way they held on Seth's face, like, kind of like, oh, I can't believe it. Please don't do a third one. Please. Come on now. I don't see... I don't know. I'm sure you could book something fantastic, but I don't see what there is to gain from Cody and Seth having another match. Either Cody going 3-0 up or Seth getting his win back. I don't see how that advances it. Good match, not a huge amount of story being told, but good wrestling for good wrestling's sake. I'll take it if the alternative is bad wrestling. Omos versus Bobby Lashley. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, this one actually accomplished more from a storyline perspective than Cody versus Seth did, because now Omos has got an MVP manager, he's MVP's MVP, and the presence of MVP has helped him. He didn't win a match at WrestleMania, now he's got MVP, he won a match, because MVP put a cane in baubles. Fine. I mean, I think Omos was a bit more sprightly, a bit, in this match. Like, he's running around, bouncing off the ropes. He's not full Carly. People need to get off his back a little bit. I think this is a long-term build. I don't think you are going to be shooting Omos to the moon straight away, but with MVP on his side and just a slow progression of good matches, yeah, I can see Omos being slowly built to something quite major. It's fine. Edge versus AJ. Again, I think an improvement over their Mania match, if only because they were working a much more cohesive story, a much more easily kind of like emotional story. AJ's shoulder was injured. Edge, of course, going for the middle turnbuckle. He who sets it up must suffer the consequences. So Edge, of course, went into the middle turnbuckle for a really nice close too. Like, I think everyone was expecting there to be a new member of Judgment Edge. And yes, the fact that it's not Tommaso Ciampa, it's Rhea Ripley. I'd say that's the highlight of the pay-per-view for me. A good match. I love a masked goon. We know that about me. I love some masked henchmen. I liked the AJ's face when he was in the kind of cross-face sleeper. It all made sense to me. Rhea already kind of has that Rude-esque kind of like nightmare kick your head in vibe. I absolutely can, just bit more eyeshadow and you're in Spooky Club. I think it's a great pairing, actually. The two of them side by side, I was like, this works. I like this. And yeah, fantastic to actually be doing something with a cohesive and straightforward direction with Rhea Ripley after the absolute bollocks they had her doing in the lead up to kind of Mania and then that feud with Charlotte. Goodness gracious me. Thrilled for Rhea. Can't be happier. Hope this is the start of something brilliant. And speaking of brilliant, this was silly. Ronda versus Charlotte. What a silly match. I really like this. I've liked it so much more than their kind of portentous WrestleMania match. They just went ham on each other. It was so fun. Ronda Rousey had the power of God and anime on her side when she did her kind of whoa with the two kendo sticks. Two kendo sticks versus one kendo. It's great. Like, it was very much a kind of walk and brawl, you plunder match. But I thought it was good. Like, the I Quit actually, I think, served the match. It wasn't, what do you say? It was just, put the microphone when the submission is in and just hear the screeching, like Charlotte screeching in the Tree of Woe armbars. That was fantastic stuff. They really, really like saying bitch, don't they? This was Bitch the Musical. Oh, never, bitch. I was hoping you'd say that, bitch. Happy Mother's Day, bitch. It was very, very silly, but I love it. I love that kind of silly wrestling. Probably my match of the night. Maybe, I don't know. The main event was really good. This was a good show. Ronda wins the belt. Clean as a whistle, tapping out Charlotte Flair. Well, not tapping out, making Charlotte Flair say, I quit, with her arm inside a steel chair. Doing the dangerous armbar and then doing her kind of bent a weird way armbar through the chair. Sure, why not? I thought that was a lot of fun. Also, Ronda came to work with the maze from The Shining on her head. That's also nice. Corbin versus Moss. Sure, why not? This match might have well as happened. Mediocre. Didn't care. Sorry. I think Madcap Moss has the potential to be something. He bumps well. He's got a great look. He can tell a story with his face. But I just wish they'd stop dressing him like Mickey Mouse, please. Then maybe people get behind him. The crowd weren't behind him. You can see it on the screen. You can see when a crowd's not engaged. Everyone's sitting on their hands throughout the entire thing and just a kind of slow murmur of discontent until Moss won with a victory roll. Sure. Okay. Fine. But let's just move these guys apart and never speak of it again and give Madcap Moss an actual gimmick now, please. And finally, the main event. Lots of fun. I don't know if this was the right call coming out of it. Drew looks less of a contender to Roman, I would say, just looking grumpy at the end. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure this is something that can be built back up on SmackDown, but I would have had Drew go over here, but who cares? I'm sure WWE knows more than I do. It was just a lot of fun. RKO's out of nowhere, Roman just running in and just it's like Randy just drilling him almost straight down. It was just a lot of fun. A blockbuster main event. I loved how Roman has such an assuredness with his character that he can build the crowd up by not doing anything, just standing there, slowly accepting the tag, walking around, tagging out. No, that's wrestling to me. That's wrestling. Doesn't matter about how many moves you do, and there were a lot of moves in this match. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if it ended out of nowhere. There was the big mess on the outside. Drew getting rock bottomed through the announce table, of course. How many more rock bottoms until the cousin arrives? It's like Beetlejuice. Fun. All in all, Backlash was good. I wish I had something more to say than it was good. But genuinely, from a night of storyline perspectives, Rhea joined, that's it. I think from a story, if you're a storyline person as a wrestling fan, which I am more than a kind of an actual kind of moves thing. I thought it was a pretty lackluster night, to be honest. The Rhea thing is fun, but otherwise not a lot of developments worthy of making so many sequels out of them. From a wrestling perspective, yeah, good show. Borderline, pretty great. If you like cohesive matches, definitive finishes, crowd being relatively into the whole thing, apart from Moss and Corbin, you would have had a good time with this. I would not blame you for having a good time with WrestleMania Backlash, but I don't know. Not a lot to draw me back into Raw and SmackDown. I don't know. Don't want to be too down on the show. I had fun watching it, mostly because I was watching it with Sully. So there you go. That is my potted review of WrestleMania Backlash. Like I said, most excited to see what's next for Rhea Ripley. She deserves the promotion. Hell yes. That's it. We will see you next time for one of these pay-per-view reviews when we're going to be reviewing... Oh, it's Double or Nothing! Are there going to be more than 4 matches on the card, Wikipedia? Yes, very, very excited about that show. That is going to be a bunch of fun. So we'll see you then at the end of May for live reactions over on WrestleTalk Podcast. For pay-per-view reviews, of course, on WrestleTalk. Make sure you subscribe to WrestleTalk Podcast. Parts Fun Night. And, of course, No Rolls Barred. And jam that jam, everyone. Bye, 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 bye.